Hi, welcome to another episode of Xposed with Ash. I am your host, Ash Lazoo. Last week, we had the mothers of children on the spectrum. Today, I have the fathers. And this episode, I'd like to find out their unique perspectives on what it's like raising children on the spectrum. Say hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
It's Autism Awareness Month.
Oh, this isn't dad jokes?
No.
I could do those too.
And we're going to be sharing your perspectives on what it's like raising your children without having the wives, except it doesn't kind of count because I have my husband here today. So.
Don't worry, I'll still be honest.
Strap in, y'all.
Don't worry.
So why don't you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Bobby Mariello. I have two sons. Thomas is 17 years old. He was diagnosed as autistic when he was 3. So we've been in this journey for 14 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jacob Lazoo. My son, Jacob Lazoo. Eli Lazoo. He's 8 years old. He just got diagnosed. And, but we've been on the journey for almost...
Forever.
Yeah, well,
Figuring
8
it
years.
out.
We'll do 8 years. So we've been in with him. So that's about it.
Yeah, man. Ramon Pasante. My son is 22 years old. We found out he was on the spectrum when he was probably like 3 or 4 years old, around that time. And it's quite a transition from helping someone with autism to adult. That is quite a journey. But and it was probably, him as a kid was also conditioning me. So I got that perspective, an adult autistic person in my life, and showing them how to deal with what the world looks like.
It's scary. I know it's scary as a mother, but I want to know what it's like as a dad. That's why I brought you guys on. But before we get into that nitty gritty, what are the most rewarding aspects of being a father?
When they hit their goals, when you just see a goal or you're in the IEP and they're finally saying good things about him, which you could have years and years of IEPs that just are terrible.
Right.
Well, mine, I'm just happy to see him talking. He wasn't talking to us for a while. Just that now that he's pointing things out and like every 5 seconds. And I know sometimes it gets annoying, but he confirms everything with us, and he's telling us everything about this is a penguin and this. I'm like, he wasn't talking like this before, and he was very quiet. And it's just happy to see that he's actually talking to us instead of staying away from us, because just for a while he just keeps himself, and now he just involves us with him. And I'm happy that he does that with us. That he's showing so much improvement. I mean, my wife does a lot for him, way more than what I do. But, she does, I would say, 90% of what I'm supposed to be doing. But she does it. She keeps me in tune. Even though when I feel like I don't want to listen, she does. We're good parents with them, and we try our best. And I think that counts.
Yeah. For me, it's, when I see my son running point on something without me having to walk him through it. I think that, I'm talking about life. I'm talking about things that he takes seriously. Things like, or even just like when I see people that are genuinely want to be around him, and I think it's something that we all take for granted. People that don't have autism. We have friends, we have people that want our attention, that want our company. And then you see the people around him. And then of course there's those people around him that are just kind of like looks at him like, oh, he's different, or he's there's something up with him. Yeah. But when you actually see him have like engaging relationships with people that are just like, hey, Javi, you want to ride to school? I'll pick you up. Like somebody, did you have to ask them? He goes, no.
Oh,
I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just things like that, but yeah, just seeing him, just doing things on his own without me having to like supervise anything, those are just like, that's a win.
You feel like supervising is something that you have to continuously do?
At times. I mean, it took a while, but and even sometimes I have to step in and just you know, kind of like sort through what's happening here. Like I got to step, but like I noticed that the times that I have to step in is when society is effing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when like things that we have like this filter. We're like, yeah, this guy's full of it, or this person is trying to take advantage of me, and I'm not going to do that. But then, so when I see people try to take advantage of him, or certain systems, the things try to take advantage of him, I got to step in and I got to show him. You see what they do. This is what they're going to do to you, and they're going to continue to try you. They're going to continue to test you because they feel because you're different, they can walk all over you. And that's the lessons that we're going through right now.
Right.
Man. Like we can go into it later, but that's the win. The win is when he's just running point and he actually has some type of like social life that's not about taking advantage of him or treating him like he's some kind of like, you know, charity case.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I have moments where I want to smother my kids and hold them and hide them from life and people. And my husband, Jacob, he tells me constantly, leave him alone.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't.
The thing is with her sheltering them that they don't get to experience too much. And I know me and her are different when it comes to the parenting a little bit, but we do agree on things. But like, I want him to experience everything. I want him to experience the word no, you know, because people are going to tell him no.
Yeah.
And when he says, if I say no to him and he flips out, I need him to learn that the reason why I said no and that you can't do something. People out there are not going to notice or see that you have autism. They're going to see that you did something wrong. And they're going to judge you right away. If you go up to somebody and just go into their pockets and take their phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, he doesn't even the babysitter. And, you know, I told her, we have to explain. She's like, it's fine. But like I said, I still want him to know that it's not right. And that's what I'm scared of.
But see that you got to take it a step further, and because it's like sometimes it's no, and you don't have to have a reason.
Oh
yeah,
and you have to be okay with it.
Yeah,
you know, you don't. Nobody owes you an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, and unfortunately, this is
I'm just
the
a super
harsh
mother,
reality.
because I'm like, no, we need to explain in detail.
I used to, I'll drink a kid's tears. I'm like, no.
That's a new one.
Scram.
Yeah. Oh my god, I do that. He's like top of because what he does now, I can sit next to him, he won't do nothing. But the moment I walk away, he just screams. Because he knows that he's upset because I didn't let him do something, and it's loud.
Oh,
it gets loud, man. It gets loud.
No is a trigger, right? So what about Thomas? How has Thomas?
Well, we just bet going on what you were saying. We just switched his school for high school senior.
Oh, he's going to high school.
He's a senior. So this is it. So
Wait,
it's a lot more.
He's a senior.
He's 17. Yeah. So
why am I thinking he's 14? I'm sorry. I'm still like, cause you know how you see them. I'm a super mom. I see everybody as babies.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, oh, you know, oh boy, he's senior. Okay.
So now it's more of let's get ready for the work environment. What's work going to be like? They're taking him out to jobs, and they're taking him to Walgreens and stock the shelves and fix the expiration dates and fix stuff like that. But in a new school, he was in his old school for 6 years, and he didn't know the names of his classmates. Now he comes home. Knows the names of his classmates. He loves going to work. He gets a work shirt. He did Planet Fitness. He got a Planet Fitness shirt. So it's just a total change, just putting him in a new environment that he loves, and they'll tell him no. He understands. If they tell him, you can't do that, he's like, okay, I understand. Once you're different ages, obviously, So, yeah, so he gets it, but he's definitely happy and definitely excited about working. He said he wants to make money because he doesn't want mom and dad to pay for everything anymore.
Oh, he reached independent stage.
Yes, which is great. I have no problem with that. So,
I'm not ready for that. But...
Well, we haven't reached that stage.
You got time.
Yet, so.
You have time.
You have time. You're going to have probably more time than you want.
So what about now? I know going into fatherhood, just like mothers, like we expect one thing. And hearing the diagnosis, there's like a grieving period with that because of what the expectations were. What was that like? I know what it was like for me as a mom, but what was it like for a dad? You guys are all dads to boys. So you know how you have in your head, like, yeah, I'm going to play ball with my son. I'm going to do this and do that. And sometimes they're not physically able to at a certain moment.
It was kind of like a relief for me. I'm like, what's up? So when you like get like the diagnosis and you get, oh, so this is what we got to do. It's like when you have a mysterious, even like if you like have like something weird that's happening to your body and you don't know what it is, and it takes like a year to figure it out. And you go, oh, it's this. Okay, so this is what I have to do to maintain this lifestyle that I'm going to have to live moving forward because of I have this sickness or something. So for me, it was like, it was always, and it's not a sickness, but what I'm saying is that now we knew, oh, this is what's up. So now this is what we have to do to move forward. These are the things we have to do. So I just felt better.
So you flowed into it.
Because I'm just like, yo, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. He doesn't want to play with the toys that other kids want to play with. He doesn't want to, like, he doesn't process things that I'm telling him the same. But it's like the moment you know, oh, this is what it is, then the world opens up to you learning about what that is. And now you're going, okay, so then it's not as, as jarring for you as a parent versus going, is my kid just an a-hole? You know what I mean? But it's like, no, he's he has these, he's on the spectrum. He has Asperger's and, his sensories are high and we have to, and then that's when things get easier because that, all right, this is how the IEP helps a lot. You know what I mean? The physical therapy, the speech therapy, the occupational therapy, all those things, they help. And you see the progress, Yeah,
denial, 100% denial.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember my wife we were sitting in the kitchen, and he must have been 2 or 3 at the time, and she said, he's not talking. He's like a year behind on talking. And I'm like, he's fine. He's fine. No, it's fine. So then once she convinced me to, let's go to the right doctors, let's go to the developmental pediatrician, let's get to this right, and let's get the right therapies and everything, then I understood.
Do you think it was a generational thing for you?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back then.
Because you come from a generation where mental health was like taboo.
Oh,
now
absolutely.
It's like, I go to therapy every day.
Yeah.
Good for you. You're awesome.
My father, back in the 30s, my father didn't talk until he was 5.
Wow.
Probably something like that also.
Okay.
Who knows?
Wow.
They didn't have autism back in in the 30s,
Right,
they didn't say, he's fine.
I found out after my son was diagnosed that a parent didn't speak until they were 4. And I was like, you didn't think to tell me? I was struggling over here.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even remember. He was a normal, I looked at him when he was a baby. Nothing was wrong at that time.
Yeah.
We didn't think anything was wrong.
We didn't. And, the moment we found out, I knew I had to take things differently. So I knew how to do things differently with him. I know how to take my time with him. I know how to have patience with him. And none of those things I had.
Yeah.
and I learned it. He taught me than what I taught him. And I gained patience. I used to get frustrated. Once in a while, yes, we do. But I calm myself down. The only thing that, like I said, it's just I know that, he's just going to be learning things a little bit slower. And I have to take my time with it. So I know he's going to do good. And he's going to be great. Baseball,
Yeah, baseball's fun.
He's fun. So it's like exercise for me because I'm running after him.
I'll tell you about baseball with your son.
Yeah.
Because he's been on our team for a couple of years now.
3 years, right?
And you could see the difference. You could see where he didn't want a part of it, didn't want to do it. Now he's following directions. He's following along. Yeah. He's getting down. He's doing, he understands where to go, what to do. Yeah. Totally changed. Yeah.
When my earliest signs for us was that my son was like, he must have been like 2 or 3, and I would buy him all these awesome toys that I would have wanted as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did not give a crap about any of these toys. But you know what he cared about? Was his sock. He would take off a single sock.
Go figure.
And he would just whip it. Yeah. And he would just walk around the house all day just going. Wanted to buy all the toys that I bought him, and I'm like, "Hey, do you wanna play with this Hot Wheels? Do you wanna do this? Do you wanna engage with this Star Wars crap? Like, do you?" No, he goes, and he would just run away and it was literally like that was all he did was fixate on this like one sock and whip it. And I'm like, and we were all like, okay. And then we started noticing he would align the remote controls a certain way. And this is like, these were like signs. And then I remember someone was like, I think your son has Asperger's. And I'm like, what? And because he would do the repeated thing.
That's right. That was more
the repetitive
of what they
thing.
would say is
Right.
Asperger's instead of autism.
Right. Because, you know, there was new classifications. And then he would watch movies over and over again, which most kids do, but he would verbatim, before learning how to speak, he would know how to speak whatever the film was saying.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know how to talk, but he would like, with his mouth, he would just imitate what the film was saying.
Yeah.
So these were the things that I'm like, something's off. Something's different here. And that was like very young, 2-3 years old.
You know what the doctor told us, because our older son is 4 years older than Thomas, said he's doing all the talking for Thomas. He doesn't shut up. So he just talks and talks and talks. So he handles all the, and once he ever is quiet, then we'll figure out what Thomas is going to say.
That does make sense though, because I do know my daughter acts like our son's oldest, like the mother.
Exactly.
You know, and I have to tell her, like, back up. There's one mom here. Like, relax. A
But
little
that's
bit.
awesome.
That's great.
No, she's
rough.
you need to do this, and then she'll go, LJ, give me. Like he tries to open something, she'll snatch it and say, I'll just do it.
Right, but doesn't it
She's
comfort
rough.
you? Doesn't it comfort you to know that God forbid something would to happen to you, that she would be there for him?
Absolutely.
That
We know Ava. She's good,
yeah.
bossy. But
Very bossy.
she's
She
a
is.
diva.
It's like I got 2 wives.
Oh God.
Oh man.
One really young
She's
one.
a mini. She's a mini ass.
She's a mini me.
How old is she?
She's
She's 10. 10.
Wow.
Rough.
She walks all over him.
Yep.
Yep.
Not
Wow.
bad.
Yeah, there's no rules.
It'll be helpful in time though, and as she gets older.
She. I mean, like I said, she gets like she doesn't want to wear dresses or anything. She wants
Is she like her or like you?
No, she's like him.
She's like me.
Sneakers.
Sneakers, all
baggy
that stuff.
pants. I'm like, can we just
She
wear
wants to
something
like
nice?
that. Like, we gotta go to the mall. I want to go to the sneaker store. I'm like, and the other guys like, I'm like, maybe she. I was like, go with your mom.
Oh.
And she's like, no, I don't want to go with her. I will go
She's
with
like-
you.
she's
Even
like-
to school, I'll be tired. She's like, take me to school. I'm like, mom's taking me. Like,
She's like Darlene and Roseanne.
yeah, exactly.
I don't watch movies, so
Oh,
I don't watch
come
shows.
on.
I read books all day.
Okay. Oh, that's actually a good
does.
thing. That's
All right,
probably
that's a flex.
that's probably
Trust
better.
me, I've watched movies where she's just telling me like, is this a new movie? Like, babe, this is like from 1985. She's like, wow, this has just come out. I'm like, nope, this is old movie. I'm like, you gotta look up once in a while to see what's in front of you. But she's always reading, even in the car rides. She reads.
Because I
Not
read
a
all
bad
the
thing,
time. Because I read all the time.
Yeah.
I've been
I'm the one
able
that bought her first Kindle. I
I-
don't know if that was a good thing or bad thing.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it's like
I bought her Kindle. She got it here
I
And
got
you
my
read that
Kindle
in the
with
car.
me.
every time. She reads.
Oh,
every time.
I would be throwing up in the car trying to read.
That's what I told her. I can't look down, I get lost. I get headed. I can't even ride in the back seat. Can't ride in the back seat. She reads.
Because I read,
Yeah.
I studied a lot,
Yes.
heavily about autism
Good.
and mental health and just whatever I have an interest in and that I feel like I need to know more about, I will read it. So that's my flex, especially with autism, because there are things that I learned about it where I'll tell Jacob, like, hey, I read that we're not supposed to be doing this, so let's try to do that instead. So what are some of the trying to think how to say it. Like, how do you best advocate for your child?
Within the home or outside in the world?
See, I'm working outside in the world because I want to smother him, and I know that it's not okay. In the home, I know we're more laid back, so we kind of just let him do his thing, and then we just match whatever it is that he needs. Yeah, I would say outside in the world, how do you advocate for him? It's a lot sometimes because there are times we always constantly have to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't understand, I'm sorry," and I'm tired of saying sorry.
Yeah. What I do, so I'm gonna give you two examples. My son went to go try to get his passport, and I wanted him to do it on his own. And he called me, like, got him all his paperwork and everything. He called me, he goes, they're not going to give me my passport, Dad. And I'm like, why not? And then he goes, and then I hear the lady on the other line, outside, on the other side of the phone, and he's saying, well, they're saying because I have a Washington state ID that I need a New Jersey ID. I'm like, that's BS.
Yeah.
You're an American citizen. You have a birth certificate that you're an American citizen. They should give you a passport. Tell them that you go to school and you've lived here. Proof that you go to school in Jersey. And the lady online is like, you have proof of going to school in Jersey? He goes, yes. She goes, I can't help you. So then I have to physically go over there, and I have to go Phyllis.
Papa Bear.
Phyllis is my mother's name.
Oh, okay.
You ever try to mess with her kid? She goes in and she is the loudest person in the room. So that's what I had to do. I had to go there, I had to turn on my cell phone, and I had to show my son. And this is how I advocate for my son. I make sure he is watching. And I says, you people are discriminating against someone with a mental disability. And it's clearly, I can clearly see it right now because he has the paperwork he needs to have a passport. What is going on in here? And my son sits there and watch, and then, I'm so sorry. It was crazy. It broke my heart when I walk in there and I see him standing there and everyone's ignoring him. And they're treating him like he's crazy. And I'm like, it's go time. And then the very next day, he went in on his own and they got him his passport. Happened in his school too. They try in college, they tried to deregister him, saying that his payment didn't go through. I said, how? And I always let him try first. I said, go, show the receipts, show that, and tell him that you have proof that the payment was made. And then they tell him, oh, you just need to go and talk to the third party, or you just need to go and call your bank. So now I have to go in with him. But I always do if I just try first.
Of course, yeah.
And then when I go in and I go Phyllis on him. And then I go in and I said, look,
I like that.
the reason why the payment situation is because of a third party. That's not his effing fault. His job is to figure out school. Your job is to figure out why they're saying that he's not paying when we have the proof. Now get to it. And they go, okay, yeah. So those are just two examples where they try to when they see that he's different, they're saying that there's a lacking in his intelligence, or there's some lacking of him being quick to gather things,
Right.
and the moment they see that, they walk all over him. And then they try to dismiss him. And I always show him, and I always make sure that I say out loud to them, I said, I know he's different, but it does not mean that you're not supposed to do your job. And then I always make sure when I leave, and I always tell him, I said, dude, they are going to try to do this to you your whole life. And you have to make sure that, like, this is the hardest lessons, because, and I think after some time, he's going to be like, I'd rather you be difficult until you can't get what you need than just lie down.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, this is how I advocate for him. I let him try, and then I step in and I go, what's going on, y'all?
Well, it's the life skills. So the life skills they're teaching, because our kids are adult, in school are how to balance a checkbook, how to get a job, how to work. They don't teach them how to do your taxes.
Right.
What happens if the insurance claim doesn't go through? How do you get a passport?
Yeah.
They don't teach them stuff like that.
None of that stuff.
So, it's good. He's 22, you said, right? So it's good that he's trying, but this is breaking new ground for him.
Yeah.
This is his first time he's ever seen something like this. Seeing the application of the passport application makes my head explode too when I saw the thing. But you can't teach all of that, all of the little things. Right. I mean, they go do the other things. How to balance a checkbook, all right? How do you open up a bank account? How do you do stuff like that? But the stuff that we're going to go through our life as we go on. What happens when you change insurance companies? What happens when your boss says, "Oh, we're bringing in a new company"? Which insurance plan do you take? You gotta that stuff. That
I don't even know that stuff.
But see, that's also
Yeah, you say all that, I'm like,
my head. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's like we learn as we go.
Sure.
Yeah, it's rough. It is rough to like make sure that someone is not getting one over, because people are going to try.
I I haven't got to that stage yet.
You're not there.
I mean,
That's where
I
your daughter comes in.
I give, you know what it is? I give you guys props for that because I haven't, like, the only thing I've ever had to do for him was, like, go in there and argue with the principal.
Yeah.
But you guys got older kids.
He sees that.
But he did.
Make sure
I
he
went in there
sees
that day when they called me and said that he
Well,
he,
well, let me
she's
add.
done it, but hold on.
I did most of the fight.
Yeah,
and
but when they
Jacob's
called me-
he's the type that he's I'm full blown like
Yeah.
Yeah.
what happened? And Jacob's like, well, you know, like he's so good at just making his point but smoothing things over.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's just like nobody's on the defense
don't-
with him. With
yeah.
me, they're on the defense.
Right.
Because well, LJ's just, like I said, it's just a learning process with me when it comes to him. I mean, I'm pretty sure later on when he gets older, I would have to explain everything to him.
But I like how you guys describe how you advocate for your children, because the one thing that I've learned, it was a really hard lesson. I forgot who told me, but she was like, if you like who your husband is, mind your business when he's raising his son.
Oof.
And that was like, I was
Wow. Interesting.
I was like, okay,
Who said that?
no,
Wasn't my wife.
I actually don't agree with that
okay,
because I'm someone that takes criticism pretty well,
right,
and my wife is that person. You know, that's not her son. She's the stepmom, but my wife will step in and go, hey, because I'm also very hard on my son. I always run. I treat him like, bro, this is you. This is on you. This is your life. What's for dinner? Why don't you figure it out today? You know what I mean? I'm very much like, you're 22 years old, man. What are you figuring out for dinner today? You're hungry? Oh, then why don't you do something about it? But like, my wife will step in going, hey, I know that you want to teach him about life. You want to teach him how to life, and that's great. But buy your kids something to eat, dude. You know what I mean? And then that's something that I am open to. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm too, because I'm aware of how cruel the world can be. And I sometimes I kind of just go, hey, man, you hungry? Figure it out. You want to go somewhere? Oh, you want to go to the city today? Take your ass to the city today, then. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, so I'm very much like, that's the balance.
I feel like there's a balance.
It's a good,
where
I appreciate the balance. I love the balance. I do.
I'm exactly like Jacob. I am the smooth over. I'm the smooth over when my wife is, it's email the school. Got to email the school. We got to get this done. We got the answer. What's happening? We need the answer. And me, it's like, it's fine. It's honestly, but no.
Like, I
don't like to argue. I mean, I feel like if I argue, it's just not gonna get nowhere. And
let's go.
Yeah.
It's not. I can't work that way. I've never been like that. She knows that. If I have a conversation, I'll just talk, and the people could be yelling, and they'll start calming down, and they'll be like, "Wow, I'm not getting nowhere with this guy." You
But
know,
that's also a life skill.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to teach others. Like, don't flip out. Like, calm down. Try to explain yourself. And if you can't, then I'll help them. It's the same thing with school. When I went to school, I had like everybody in that office. And they looked at me and was like, why is he so calm?
Oh, he had a lineup.
And I got there, I had the principal, I had the vice principal, I had the teacher, I had the other teacher, I had the counselor, I had the other counselor, I had the lady trying to block him from the door. I said, why are you blocking him? Is he like doing something bad? And she was like, no. He says, look at our arms. I was like, yeah, because you guys are circling him. You can't put him in the middle of the circle. People just with your hands trying to block him. Like, is he an animal? He's not an animal. He's a kid. He's 8.
Yeah.
It's like, give him space.
Well,
I told him, you guys are just going in there and circling around this kid and not letting. He's 8 years old. He has energy. Let him run. Oh, he's jumping on the stage. He's jumping on the table. I understand that, but you guys are not correcting him the right way. You guys are thinking about circling him and blocking him from doing things. He's scared. He's trying to get away from you guys. You guys are not stopping him. He's trying to run away. That's why he's ripping the wall. He's doing that because you guys are not doing it the right way. You got to talk to him. You got to be patient with him. And as long as you talk to him and explain to him, he'll stop. I told him, he went to go rip the poster and I said, what are you doing? He looked at me and put his hand down. You can't do that. And he stopped. The guy was like, you want a job here?
That's scary.
And I said,
get him out of that school right now.
He's like, you want a job here? You do way better than what we do. And I'm like, no, I don't want to work here. I said, do not. The thing that scares me at that school is like, I went to go pick him up and they didn't even like deem me out the door. They just say, hello, I'm here to pick up my son. And they brought him out.
Ugh.
And that's it.
Mm.
So I'm just learning this. Now I'm like,
this school's
these
not.
were little
On
emails.
camera.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they brought him out. The guy, even the security, hey, what's up, man? And he's out there hanging out, he's running around. He didn't even ID me. They didn't ask for my ID or nothing. So
They also probably knew you were on your way
yeah, but
to
they
pick
still
him
have.
up.
That's the procedure.
It is a procedure,
Yeah,
correct.
I should always have to show my ID whether I'm his father. Or not.
Absolutely.
I wish I would have known because I would have included that in the email that I wrote.
Well, I didn't know. This is one of the things I don't. Really
I didn't know that. I didn't know that the ID thing. Like,
You have to.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have to
But now
to show
after
them that you're the
COVID,
parent.
now you have to go and present your ID,
Yeah.
state who you are, what you're there for, and sometimes they don't let you go into school at all.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's the
Okay.
new procedures now. So thank you for sharing.
oh,
Oh boy.
problem.
Something Ash just found out.
Yeah.
Some things I don't say too much.
So let's flip the script a little bit.
Okay.
Share your most
boy.
memorable moment with your sons. We all have boys.
It was last week. That was awesome. I just showed you the video of it.
Yes.
So they asked me to throw out the first pitch to the whole baseball league, 350 kids, 350 parents, the mayor, everybody there. I'm not nervous. I was fine. But when they asked me that they wanted my son to catch the pitch, that was so cool. And then he caught it, thank God. And then he came running up to me and he gave me a hug on the pitcher's mound. That was just made the whole day amazing.
It was amazing to watch. It was really
Yeah.
nice. When I was on Facebook watching, I was like, oh, like, you know, you want to have like the tear where you're just like this, trying to hold it back. It was really nice. It was very special.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, this is Coach Bobby. There's the team called Clifton Praise.
Right. So
Right?
we have a special needs baseball team in Clifton. We have 26 kids right now. We have a game in a couple hours.
I have to be there too.
And I just saw my phone. My phone's ringing. I'm like, oh no, somebody's not coming. But I was just like, we started it in 2017. This is our 13th season, and we missed 1 year with COVID, obviously. But we've gotten it up from 20 kids to 26 kids. We've had kids in wheelchairs. We've had girls who were deaf. We've had Jacob, LJ, who wasn't even speaking. We have other kids who aren't speaking on the team, you know. And after baseball, then we moved over because my son Thomas wanted to bowl. So I opened up my own Special Olympics bowling team. After that, we had 16 kids on the Special Olympics bowling team, and last week we had the state finals. You know, so it's just there's opportunities out there, tons of opportunities for kids, even adults. When they become adults, they can still do the bowling, you know. But getting the kids out there and the smiles on the baseball field,
Yeah.
ear to ear, parents are bouncing off the walls. The kids are totally excited. I don't know, it's because they get the juice box and the bag of chips at the end of the game, which
I
is,
think that's what they look forward towards.
yeah. No, but I mean, just smiles. Every time I drive by the field, I'm just like, wow, how many smiles have there been on this field in how many years? So,
Yes, it's very special.
yeah.
Very, very special. And I'm happy we're a part of that too.
Yes.
Where I get to bring my son.
Yes.
Memorable
Why don't you take
moments.
that one? I'm still thinking of mine.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
I got a lot.
Mine's is pretty unique. When he was 13, he came out to me, and I kind of saw it coming, and I was selfishly worried about how it was received because he was 13. He was very certain of his sexuality so soon,
Well,
and I was just like, oh man. And I actually tried some antics to try to push him to the straight side. This was back in a time when I was more scared because, you know, I'm 45. I grew up in the 80s and 90s where
Yeah.
gay kids were beaten up and bullied, and I was very worried about that for him. But you know, I tried to, you know, introduce him to girls and like, hey, you know, it's not. But the thing about kids with autism is that they know exactly what they want. They know exactly
Yes.
who they are, and they don't care about any kind of peer pressure. They don't fault. They're not swayed by peer pressure. And you know, and then just one day I was just walking him to school, and he just like, Dad, I think I'm gay, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I know. But that was in my head. I said that in my head. I'm like, all right, well, you know, look, you're in middle school. And I had to tell him, I said, look, kids are not I'm not sure if kids are going to be as understanding as you are right now. And then this is great that
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but I need you to really just take your time to really, before you're ready to start, living that life as one. And I need you to just be very careful and conscious in who you share that with, especially with these kids in middle school.
Right.
They're horrible.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, that was probably one of the most memorable moments because he just said it with such confidence at 13 years old.
I love that he was comfortable too.
He was
to
very
just
comfortable. Yeah, he could
come
say it
out
to
and
me.
say
He could tell me
it.
whatever he wants,
Well.
So yeah, that was probably the. It was funny too. Can I tell a real quick story?
Yeah, sure.
So it was Valentine's Day, and he knew that this girl liked him. Right, her name was Teresa. Right, he had this friend. And it was like this thing where this girl named Katrina that he was like, and his friend Fernando. Fernando and Katrina were dating. Teresa liked him, so it was like perfect little match, two couples. And I was like, yeah, this is great, right? And then Valentine comes around. I buy him. So I say, hey, look. I know it's Valentine's Day. I know this girl, Teresa, really likes you. So why don't you bring her some chocolate? So I bought him some chocolate. He comes back, he goes, Dad, she loved it. Now she's my girlfriend. And I'm like, great. So I'm checking in like, hey, you walking her to class? He's like, nah. I'm like, all right, well, you want to go to the movies? I'll take you guys to the movies. We all go to the movies together. He goes, I don't know. I'll let you know. I'm like, okay. So then finally he comes up to me and he tells me, yeah, Dad, Teresa broke up with me. And I get mad. Hey, you know why? Because you didn't walk her to class. You didn't kiss her. You didn't want to you didn't do anything I told you to do in order to keep that girl. And that's why she broke up with you. And he goes, no, Dad, that's not why. I'm like, why? He goes, because Katrina broke up with Fernando. I'm like, well, why did they break up? He goes, because now Katrina and Teresa want to be together. I'm like, what is going on in that school?
Love it.
What is happening? But and then that's when that was the moment where I'm like, I surrender. And then like a year later, he was like, yeah, Dad, I think I'm gay. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it was foolish of me to think that I could like push him in that world.
But he gave him the experience.
Yes.
Of like, why don't you try this?
Well, he tried it. He tried it, and he just was like not feeling it. So I'm like, all right, find your way.
Thomas will tell you every girl's name in his class.
Okay.
He's definitely he'll tell his counselor.
Yeah, man.
I'll look for a girlfriend. Yep. I'm looking.
Yeah, these kids. Yeah, they know. They know so much. They know about who they are,
Oh, yeah.
and they're just so confident in what they want. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Not shy at all
No.
about that. No.
I love that.
no.
That's.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet either.
I love
No, you got to.
I know.
Prepare yourself.
I am. I'm getting there because like your guys got guy. He's catching baseballs. He's
Yeah.
talking.
Well, remember the
Games, that's
generation. So
I know it's a
we're
big
all
gap.
10 years apart.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all 10 years apart.
Are you boomer? Are you boomer or X? Gen X?
I don't know what's 55. I don't know which one
think
that
you're
is.
Oh, I didn't want to
Yeah,
say
I
your
think
age.
that's ancient. I think that's ancient.
No, baby boomer, Gen X, millennial.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Am I?
This is good.
38.
You're a millennial.
I gotta
Well,
study that. I don't know. I say dinosaur.
We were
feel like
alive.
I'm-
Millennium was alive. Oh my God.
I remember. I remember
Oh
very
my
well.
God.
I was in 7th grade. I remember very
John
well.
Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what was your memory? What's your favorite memory of yourself?
Your favorite memory.
Let me see. I have actually like 3. So
Single it down to just.
I'll give you one. I mean, we both share it. That he's speaking sentences.
Okay.
He's actually describing everything. And then one day he's like, Dad, I want pizza. I'm like, did you
Absolutely.
say that?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Great.
What pie?
And
What
I'm
do you
like,
want?
and I'm like, what, did you just like give me 3-4 words in one shot?
Mhm.
Because usually points, pizza rolls,
Mhm.
Yeah.
water. He won't say nothing. So he's like, I want pizza. I'm like,
Was that his first sentence?
yeah. I'm like, who's this
That's a
guy?
great sentence.
That's an
I'm
awesome
like,
song.
who's this guy? Did you just like speak to me? And he'll go back to saying nothing. I'm like, I know.
Pressure on him. That's right.
I know you did not just say nothing. I mean, we do so much with him, but it's just that, like, he's starting to speak to me. He starts to, say certain things that he wants without me having to ask him.
Yeah.
And, it's just it's a building process. Even like, when I build Legos for him, I sit there for days,
Oh, yeah.
building these things for him. He breaks it within an hour.
Mhm.
but then I built it again. That thing with the cube, with the Lego cube, that was a good day. You know, he was watching. He was actually sitting next to me, handing me pieces. I feel like, you know, I try to build more memorable moments with him. You know, like he helps me. I try to tell him to do things, and I'm showing him where to go. Put the pieces there. He puts them there. Like just more interacting with him because, you know, he is my only son. I got 2 girls, and he's just the one. And I know, you know, it's sad that I got the 2 girls, but they more with me than with her. And then I got the son that wants to be with her all the time and not hang out with me. And I try, I'm like, you know, he goes to bed, I'm going to bed. I lay down, and I try to cuddle with her, and he's right there. Under the blanket. I'm like, what is this thing here? And I pull the blanket, he's sleep looking. I'm like, hey, man.
Why are you here, peasant?
Yeah, I'm like, don't you dare.
That's funny.
And he's just there, but, you know, it's great. I'm just having fun raising him.
It's good seeing you light up, talk about your kids. That's good, man.
Yeah.
It's just a moment. So like I said, just he's riding bikes, you know, all that
They
stuff.
teach you. I feel like our kids teach us how to the acceptance. Because we have a whole bunch of people in our lives that it's so easy to judge, but then when you are watching your child grow up being judged, it's like you just drop all of that and just accept life as is.
They don't grow up the same way we did.
And
Oh no.
yeah, so
I used to be in before this time, and can't do this, can't do that.
you can't say that.
Can't go outside for like 6 months. I'm like, what's going on here? Like my daughter does something, I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna be like my mom did to me, and I'm gonna punish you for a week. Go ahead, go back outside and roll blade.
My mom
It's
used
all right.
to, my mom
It's all
used to
right,
punish
you broke
me
the
by
belt.
sending me outside. You're punished.
my
Get out.
God.
Turn that TV on. Get out.
Yeah, man. But, you know,
Wow, man.
I'm thinking of milestones,
Yeah.
right? Because we celebrate the small milestones, and we're talking about memorable moments, right? So I know mine. So he actually kicked our babysitter out the house.
Oh.
And
Not me.
my son.
No.
My son.
I'm like, whoa.
Not me. I'm not gonna say. I try to find these people.
And,
Like,
but that was a milestone moment.
This 8-year-old kid just kicked
Yeah.
her
He
face.
kicked her out. Well,
That's
we
amazing.
put her in my
Bye.
daughter's room, but he tried to kick her out, and he had we have a therapist come to the house that just they play with him, you know, they do all of that. Got her through Perform Care, and babysitter walks in. I forgot for what.
No, she was already there.
No. She walked in. His therapist was there.
Yeah.
Babysitter walks in.
Oh, Kayla.
And I think I had to leave
Yeah.
and do something, and then okay. This besides that. But when she walked in, he looked up and he was like, bye. So we're just like, okay, he's about to have a moment. And his therapist is playing with him. She'd go, oh, come on, Jacob, let's do this. He goes, and he looked at the babysitter and said, bye, Kayla.
Whoa.
And we all stopped and we were just like, did he just talk to her? Like he gave her direction. Like he had a sentence where it's like, bye, Kayla. Like, I don't want you here. So in my head, I'm celebrating, like, oh my goodness, he acknowledged somebody, 1. 2, he gave her a direction where it's like, bye. Like, you don't need to be here. And I know that's because he thought me and Jacob were gonna leave and leave him alone, and he just, they want your parent. You want your parents home sometimes. But that was like a milestone moment where we all paused, even the therapist paused, and she was just like, "Has he ever done that?" And we're like, "No." And it's a freeze moment. We all just stop, and we were just looking at each other like, "Did that just happen?"
Does that worry
Then
you?
you
though?
guys.
It did. But we know who she is, so it's fine.
Because I'll be like, why are you?
I was
What's
like,
wrong?
What you do to my son?
What's wrong? What'd you do to my son?
No.
Because she was in the house, and I remember that. And she was.
She went through a meltdown with him, and I think he felt guilty for
That was her
whatever
first
happened,
meltdown
and it
with
was the
him.
first. Yeah.
But she still. A lot of them stay because
Yeah.
they get nervous after a while. They were like, this kid just like beat me with the phone. That's what he did to her. But he hit her in the head.
Yeah.
But it was just one of his stims that he had. And
Yeah.
I explained it to her. She's like, I'm all right. It's just, it kind of, my hip hurts a little bit. But she is actually like, that's okay. Like, she's actually the first one to actually.
She stuck around because
Stuck
I know
around.
sometimes like the stims and, just
And she tells us
the,
that.
like,
And
the behavior, sometimes it scares people. So they kind of just like, okay, I'm sorry. This isn't for me anymore. And we have to understand.
Right.
So.
But she actually tells us, you're like the first family that I feel like it's a family. And she wants to be around us. So I'm like,
And that's something.
So
that's important that she feels that way with us because, like I said, you want people to treat your kids with respect.
yeah.
And to
And you
love
want
them.
them to, love them and be happy when they're around. So
Your kid doesn't respond well to anger
No.
No.
and
No.
raising the voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
But
He
I have
listens.
to warn people about
No, LJ listens to Jacob.
Right.
If he says LJ on the field, LJ stops, turns around, runs right back. Yeah, that I've seen.
Yeah, I noticed that too. As with my son, I would get really loud and upset when he was young, and I was still young and dumb and not able to manage, learn how to get through to my son. And I realized that I had to like switch my thing and actually like speak to him and talk to him in a way that telling him that something emotionally is harming me when he does something. Like I'm not saying manipulation, but I'm like, look, dude, that can hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah.
Or that you know what? I know that you didn't mean to say that, but that can hurt someone's feelings, and that has always impacted him more than, you're punished. Sit down,
Yeah.
But it's like if you actually articulate how he could be emotionally impacting someone, he takes it like right here.
Probably because he hasn't felt understood.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, it creates more of an empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas he has a sound sensitivity.
Yeah.
So yelling at him, he just holds his ears.
Mm.
It's useless. Doesn't work. So you have to, if you're criticizing or giving him help, you have to do it in this tone of voice.
That
It's like, Thomas.
Yeah.
that
let me do it
reminds
like
me
this.
my son's first day in school, and when they were singing, and I remember him doing this.
Yep.
And that was the first sign like something was up. But I guess that's a common theme, is sound sensitivity.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just starting to learn with that. She's telling me you gotta calm down. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't realize sometimes, I'm like, LJ, quiet, please. And after a while, he keeps doing that. He does repeat that and I told him, like, he's doing it towards me.
Oh,
she's
no,
like,
he'll
no,
pick.
he's
He'll
not.
pick. He goes, oh.
Yeah.
He even does this motion when he looks at him like,
he doesn't. He picks on me. Like if they start when he'll run to the living room, look at me. I'm like, what did I do? And then he'll start laughing like, ah. I'm like, oh my god.
He does
what
like
did you
that
guys do then?
Joker laugh.
And then he'll look at
Have
me.
you watched Joker?
But we know when he's
Right? With
upset.
Joaquin
And I
Phoenix?
think
Yeah.
we know when he's upset when he runs away and he'll go on the floor, pop, 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 3 times on the floor. He'll hit the floor.
God bless our landlord.
Yeah. Well,
He
we
is
haven't
so
said
nice.
nothing yet.
Dennis below you?
He is so nice. And
Yeah.
there was one time our son was having a meltdown, and I text him, I am so sorry. We have a new therapist here, and they don't seem to be clicking. He was like, he's a boy. He's a child.
That's good.
You don't have to, you're fine. You don't have to explain. And I was just like, oh, thank God. I was terrified because we've lived in places, and that's another thing. We've been places where
Well, the one before that
people
was good,
don't
too.
like to
Oliver.
understand us. Yeah, no, we're not getting into that.
I know, but I'm saying when he was fine
No.
with LJ too.
He was fine. Our neighbors weren't.
I know. We're talking about landlords, not talking about the neighbors.
Yeah,
but
but-
I'm talking about he was fine with LJ the way he was, and he was always, accepting with the kids. So he always let them go have fun in the backyard, play.
Yeah.
See, my father was a tractor trailer driver.
Oh,
And
yeah?
he was loud because he always said the trucks are loud. So the only way we communicate is we yell at each other. So he goes, when I get home, he would yell. I mean, he never hit any kids, but he always would yell. And it's always, we were afraid of his being loud. So there's one thing I said, when I'm going to be a dad, I'm not going to yell. I just don't think it's necessary to yell like that.
Right. It's
So, yeah. So,
Damn, man, I wish I had you. We got through the people. Everybody yelled. They're like, all right, good. But yeah, man, that's good though. You have the patience. You seem like a very patient dad.
have to be.
Yeah.
Have to be.
They teach us. They definitely teach us.
I know.
What would be your advice? Knowing what you know now, what would be your advice to other fathers out there?
Talk
That-
to other dads. There
Yeah.
are tons of other dads that are experiencing everything that you are experiencing, and sit down and talk to them. We just started a dad bowling club. Now, once a month, we go out bowling, the dads and the kids. And the dads are talking to each other. Hey, how do you handle this at school? How'd you do this at school?
Mm.
So we all get together, and I was listening to 2 dads talking like, oh, wow, this is working out.
That's awesome.
You're not in it alone.
That's awesome.
I would say patience. You have patience and just be there in the moments. Just stay calm. Just be calm and patient. They'll come around, and eventually you'll just have a kid there that's understanding, and you'll understand them. So just You gotta have it though. You know, some people don't. Some people do. Patience is important.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's about. I have like a board of directors when it comes to my son. I do, and I got my brother Dimas. I got my son's godfather Jesus. I got my wife, and I got his mom. And when there's like a crisis situation, I'll probably just huddle with my brother Dimas and Jesus the godfather. And you know, there's been a couple of occasions I'm like, yo, so this is what I'm dealing with him, and you know, I know we're all in his life, but this is just what's happening right now. And because I'm not a very patient person. This is my DNA. So, you know, that's wise information. And, you know, sometimes, but I have people around me that can hold me accountable to my methods as a father. And I trust the people around me to kind of give me when I'm like veering off, because again, I'm very creative. I'm also very anxious, but I'm also like very loud, this and that. But I know my parameters, and I know the people around me, and I know when to listen. And I know when people are going, hey, you know, maybe you should take it easy on him. So just have a board of directors, people that you can listen to.
A village.
Yeah. Embrace the village, because you can't do it on your own.
We're still building ours.
I wish I was calm and like, hey, just listen to them. I wish I could be like that.
It's hard. Sometimes I'm like, why are they doing that? Well, they calm down. I'm like in my head. So like I have this thing. I'll say it in my head before I say it out loud.
Okay.
You know? And I say there's gotta be two options to everything. So even when I'm talking to my wife, I'll say, I gotta say it differently. If I say it wrong, I'm gonna get judged. And she knows that. She knows. She's like, then I think, you know, sometimes I'll do something wrong. But I'll say, hey, this is what came out after I thought about it. Sometimes it's the right answer, sometimes it's not. So, but as long as you take your time and you learn from
I feel like there's a balance, because when I start struggling, without having to say anything, he'll take over and just like, come on, let's go do this instead, so that I could calm down. Do you, I'm sure you guys have that as well. When one parent starts to get a little overwhelmed, the next just kind of swoops in and just redirects.
Yeah.
Right.
No, my wife does it with me and my son, where like there's my son sometimes can't build up a wall because he does for some reason talk to my wife a little bit about certain things that he won't talk to me, and then she'll kind of she can step in. Again, it's just that board of directors, that team that is like, okay, step in, because Ray, you on 10, so why don't you get down to 3, and let's tag team here.
If there's something that I'm setting him up to that's going to escalate him, my wife, de-escalate. Everybody at this point, de-escalate. Or if she's saying something that's getting him upset, and I come in and I go, de-escalate, bring it down.
Okay. That's a code word.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
We got to come up with code words.
Bring it down.
We do that every morning. Like, let's have a good morning. It's got to be, because you know what it is? I got to get on that bus. And sometimes I leave him on that bus and he's screaming. And the lady's like, yeah, he was screaming all the way to school. I'm like, I'm sorry. But we didn't, like, you know, I explained to him, we didn't have a good morning. You know, it's always when it's time to brush his teeth. That's what he doesn't like.
Sensory.
You know? Yeah, we get him there. We get him there. We all do.
If we could ever figure that out.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have don't tell mommy stories? I've been like, I want to ask so much.
Don't tell. What's a don't tell?
Don't tell mommy story. You know, when an event happens and it's like, yeah, don't tell your mother. She's gonna be really upset.
Oh, I don't trust my kid to not tell me. Sorry, I can't, because I'm like, he's probably gonna tell.
I was trying to prepare Jacob. I'm like, yeah, I want to ask this question. Like, do you have a don't tell mommy story? And he was like, and but his eyes lit up, and I'm like, huh.
I have a lot. You know, it always happens when I'm sleeping or I'm tired. I lay on the sofa and I'm like, you know, the kids are quiet and they're playing. They're fine.
That's like the dun dun dun.
And then I go into the kitchen and I see my son jumping in and out of the window.
Oh, God.
I think he was 3. He learned how to unlock the window, 3 or 4, I think it was.
I have no idea.
And he's jumping, and I'm like, nobody's watching this kid.
This is the don't tell mom.
He's jumping in and out of the window. I'm like, no way.
What floor are you on?
That was the first one. Scaling the building.
You know, he jumps. We had a little fire escape. Not fire escape. I'm sorry. the basement
basement
door.
Okay.
door.
There's that
where
slanted
it's at a
basement door.
Right,
you
right,
and you
right.
open. He was jumping. I'm like, oh my god, this kid. He must have walked into the backyard or something, and I hope he didn't. But he's just jumping down, laughing.
That's funny.
I'm like, okay, it's not bad. And, it's just, I'm like, I ain't telling my wife nothing. Get in, I locked the window. And then I think that's when we put nails on the window.
Oh yeah, we
So
know.
we could open it to a certain amount, but we couldn't go out after we told you. I was like, she's like, what'd you put little nails there? She's like, he can't fit out the window. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'm like, all right, we're good. We're good.
Wow.
He ain't doing that.
Okay, so before we started today, you asked me if there was a "Don't Tell Mommy" story.
Yes.
And I've been thinking about it for the longest time. So I did get one, and I know my wife is going to watch this, so I know I'm in trouble. So
Oh boy.
he's 17, but Big Brother is a security guy. He loves security. He's in college for cybersecurity. He loves security.
Nice.
So he took his phone, the 17-year-old Thomas took his phone, and he figured out that if he's downloading a new app, I have to approve the app. But he figured out if there was a way that he didn't touch his phone for 24 hours, that security went away, that he could download whatever apps he wants on his phone, on Google. However, don't ask me, too technical. So it ended up that he did it. And my wife and my son were like, he's not touching his phone for 24 hours. What is this? I knew that he didn't want, I know he's not going to download any bad apps or anything. He just wanted freedom. He just didn't want me to approve his app downloading. He's got games on the phone. It's not like he's got anything on it, So since then, every time he's downloading a new app, he's like, oh, I'm downloading a new app. And everybody's like, well, Dad's got to approve it. And Dad's not approving it. So Mom and cyber brother never figured out that he worked it out. So that's the Don't Tell Mom story.
Mom knows.
Mom
now.
doesn't know. Mom knows now that he could download whatever he wants, whatever app he wants. So not a
That's
bad
cool. No,
story.
it's a technical. That's pretty cool that he figured that out.
don't ask.
That's pretty cool.
He could
I'm
research.
gonna Google it.
Loves to research. He could research on all day. Okay, so you see now you got to do a Don't Tell Mom story.
I'm just trying to figure it out because my situation is very unique because, my wife is his stepmom, and then it normally is the Don't Tell Dad story. Like there's
Well, I'm sure.
Oh boy.
there's again because I'm on 10 a lot, and so I know that sometimes my wife and also my son's mother will have conversations. So I don't know. I'm pretty transparent with my wife about everything because we're always talking about my son and talking about what he's doing, what he's not doing, what do we keep him track on. So it's like, and maybe I need to have one of those things with my son, a Don't Tell Mom story. Like we need to have those moments, a little bit more of those moments, because I always feel like we're like always surveilling him, making sure that he's
It's fun when you have them though.
yeah.
It's like you're like, man.
See,
no,
you got
did
away
not
with
do
it.
this.
You got away with it. I had to tell my Don't Tell Mom story. No.
I don't have one. Like I honestly can't think about a moment where, the Don't Tell Mom situation with my son because I don't know. It's just my wife is so cunning. She figures everything out.
Yeah, they do.
She
We
always,
tend to do that.
I do that. I know.
God forbid I move something off place and she's already like, did someone move this chair out this way? I'm like, oh God. No, so one Don't Tell Mom thing is that whenever I come home and it's me and my son and he leaves like a mess, I said, do you really want Denise to come home and see this? And then he gets motivated. Because I tell him this, you really want her to come home and see this mess? Do you really want her to come home and see that? That's the ongoing, whenever she's not home, I said, she's on her way. She's going to be here any minute. Can
Not
you
just
please,
me.
can you please just, because I don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. So why don't we just
Clean up.
let's just figure this out, please. Half the time, and the other half is just like she already figures out, like, wow, look at the fingerprints on this island. What is going on?
Well, you know what? I actually have another one.
Oh God.
This one more.
This is the last one.
This last one. But my wife waxes, so my son got into her baby powder. So I'm like, going in the kitchen, I'm looking for him, I'm going to the room. I'm like going around. I go into the room. I'm like, I can't breathe. What the heck is going on? And the room is completely white. All I see is him open his eyes, and he's completely covered in baby powder and white. All you see with his eyes, he's looking at the TV, and he's still. I'm like, oh my god, that's all her powder. Like that's a lot of powder.
But that's an AFV video. You can
Yes,
do that.
it was
You
so
can
bad.
send that
And, you
in.
know, I have everything. He doesn't wear makeup because she leaves everything out. So I'm like, she's setting me up. Like she does the chocolate syrup. I go, he's covered in chocolate syrup. Makeup, he looked like the Oompa Loompa. When his face is completely red.
Oh my
And I had to take, it
god.
took me a few
That's so
to take
funny.
off that makeup.
That's so funny.
I have a lot.
You did that on purpose?
I think she does, but she like,
Stay in
let
my
me see if he's staying up. Let me see if he's staying up. You know, because I usually fall asleep. I work overnight, so, you know.
And you cleaned it up.
Yeah.
You
Always
didn't-
do.
Before I got home.
Ash, you didn't know.
There's
No.
more than that. There's always a lot more. I cleaned everything up, and there's not even a little part of it that you can see. So
Did you
I'm not
notice-
getting myself in trouble.
Did you notice your powder was missing?
No.
No, I bought a new one. I bought a new one and I replaced
Very
it.
sneaky.
She can't see. She doesn't know nothing until my daughter tells on me. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, she does all the time. When I see
Boy.
Chinese food, anybody wants Chinese food? Yeah, no problem.
This is a whole podcast in itself.
She tells me, you know.
When I glare at him.
Yeah. She's like, oh, so you had Chinese food? So I'm like, no. Yeah, well, Ava told me. I'm like, hey. Now I know why I'm in trouble.
Boy. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for coming on. This was great. I like to hear the father's perspectives, and I do learn a lot from hearing your stories. Yeah, my stomach hurts from laughing. Yeah, there you have it. This has been another episode of Exposed with Ash. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of the good stuff. Thank you guys.
Probably.